we will start with Professor Cristiano Morini. Cristiano obtained his PhD in Production Engineering, Master in Latin American Integration, and Bachelor's in International Relations. For the last 15 years, he is experienced to teach a variety of international trade and management contents in different universities in Brazil, other Latin American countries, US, Canada, Spain, both undergrad and graduate. Since 2012, he is a full-time professor at Unicamp. The main topics of current research are trade facilitation, performance measurement and custom, international value chains, and public-private partnerships. And the topic of today's paper he's sharing with us is customs compliance and trade facilitation in Brazil, the blue line, diagnosis and challenges. So, Cristiano, the floor is all yours. Thank you for reminding the chairman to applaud. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I would like to especially thank you to Professor David Williamson for this magnificent event and the Republic of Azerbaijan. I would like to share with you our experience of customs compliance in Brazil. And those presentations will be also shared to all of you, that there is some points that you can get after this presentation. So we are going to see the purpose of this research, what is Blue Line, and how is being developing in this for the last 15 years, the methodology we have used in this research, and some findings. First of all, I would like to invite all of you to be part of this World Cup that will be set up in Brazil. And we have also a questionnaire that you have shared with you that I would like that some people didn't fill it out. Please, if you want to do it, it's about some trade facilitation practices around the world. If you would like to help us, we will appreciate it. So this study seeks to present our customs compliance program that is called Blue Line, and to understand how it benefits the Brazilian foreign trade. We have some theoretical background that I will not comment right now. We can check it later. And but what's important to say, it's in no country and in no kind of international organization, we can see a gradual implementation of important issues, like customs reforms related to simplification and facilitation. That evolutionary approach you can also see, you can also observe in the period from GATT 1949 to Bali 213. So with this approach at the background, evolutionary approach, we would like to make comments about the global value chains and about the trade facilitation. I will not be extended most in this subject because some people have told about it. And but there is some important notes to focus. It's about to design to support global value chains. Those when countries enable trade, the benefits are not just local or bilateral, but global. But global disaggregation of value chains through trade has brought challenges as well as opportunities. In Brazil, we have an increase of the international trade in Brazil. If you see this period from 90s to 2010, in 20 years, now there is a mistake over there, it's 2011. The transaction volume in foreign trade had increased 5 times, and the importations were multiplied by 10 in 20 years. That means the average Brazilian participation in the world importations was from 0.63% in 1990 to 1.3% in 2011. With the evolution of foreign trade, customs face a new reality in Brazil. which requires innovative solutions. One of these is our Blue Line program. Blue Line is one of the best examples of the modernization approach in the Brazilian context. In Blue Line, there is no suspension of taxes or duties, payment, or even exemption, return or anticipation of exportation effects. The Blue Line is a procedural simplification, not a tax or a customs regime. And Blue Line is the name by which it was known in Brazil, the procedural simplification called normative and technically express customs clearance. That means what we would like to express, the agility, the express customs clearance. It starts in 1998 at the international airport of Viracopos in Campinas city, where I come from. And Blue Line was experimentally born as a local procedure. Campinas is a city, is an industrialized and a dynamic city in the state of São Paulo, Brazil, which qualified services, excellent infrastructure, high-tech industry, and research institutions like mine, the State University of Campinas. And who is able to apply for Blue Line benefits? A company which need to have a net patrimony of 10 million, at least $10 million, provide evidence in its performance in previous fiscal year or within 12 months prior to the request, at least 100 foreign trade operations, with total amounts of foreign trade current around $10 million. That point, I will be back related to this kind of amount, because that's one of point that we have to focus in the next stage of Blue Line in Brazil. The philosophy behind Blue Line is trying to maximize the employment of limited resources of a public administration, opposite to growing volume of foreign trade. With this intention, the customs administration required to create a system that rewards the voluntary observance of a customs legislation, voluntary, and searching excellence in dealing with public administration, so that customs can release resources to be allocated in areas and operations of greatest risk. That's what we have at the background of this program. This was the result of a partnership between the Federal Revenue Secretariat in Brazil, air trustee, importers, air companies, and the cargo agents. It was attempted to make a viable hours. We used to score the release time in Brazil in days, and with this program we are scoring in hours. Upon flight arrival, and after in another circumstance, also in ports. We have this, the importance of this Blue Line program. We have at the background this balanced approach that it has been designed by Professor Widonson. And when you have a control and facilitation, and you have to focus that part of a balanced approach with control, better control, and facilitation for the economic operators. We have to avoid this kind of practices. Physical inspections need to be an exception. The relationship between qualified companies and the customs is similar to an agreement. The company voluntarily shows that through observance of certain requisites, it's trustworthy, predictable, and the customs, on the other hand, offers procedural simplification that give more speed to customs clearance. We can see in this chart that the time of the customs clearance has been clearly decreased from the last years. And this is the main benefits we would like to point it out. Priority storage in the reserved area, customs transit clearance in priority way, customs clearance in definitive importation with presence for green channel, and other benefits, we can go faster. Now we have around 50 Blue Line certified companies in Brazil. And that's amount, it's related to the 15 of all importation declarations in Brazil and the 7 of exportation declaration. And that is the context we are talking about, the Blue Line program in Brazil. Our specific research, it was like a qualitative and a quantitative research. We survey some enterprise who is associated to this association of companies of Blue Line in Brazil. It calls AR. In the month of March and April in the last year. And so we have those kind of universe of our research. 46 enterprises at that time, member of this association 25, and we have surveyed 13 companies, what that means 28% of the total or 52% on IR basis. We have collected some information that companies qualified in Blue Line oversee a significant percentage of Brazilian importations and exportations, releasing customs labor for activities with a greater level. Okay, that's we have talked about that earlier. That's one of our results. We have asked, in your opinion, the Blue Line label offered advantages? 86% shows yes. If your company uses Blue Line, indicate your reasons. One of the main benefits we see here in speed, in agility. After the cost reduction, that's what we're talking about in those days, about agility, cost reduction, better controls, and predictability. There are some kind of results. How do you quantify the percentage of financial gains over gross invoicing after Blue Line implementation? So we have here what is new in Brazil. We didn't see this before. It's about the financial gains related to the Blue Line. We can see here some percentage related to the 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40%. That it is very significant. You can see this presentation and the details after, and you could talk more about later at the coffee break, for example. What are the difficulties identified using the Blue Line? Sorry. Costs of audits in qualification maintenance process, lack of standardization in requests made by audit companies, internal issues, observing the legislation and their amendments. That were one of the difficulties we have raised. And after, we have some proposals of actions to improve Blue Line in Brazil. I've never presented it to my DG. I thank you, Hernani is here. Thank you, Hernani. We met here in Azerbaijan. And we have some proposals of actions to improve Blue Line. One of them, for example, is the simplification of legislation to accede to Blue Line, standardize audits and simplify controls, to be flexible in manners of observance of minimal net patrimony and the other amounts provided in legislation. That's about what that value I have mentioned before. And the results have showed that showed that the most frequent users of Blue Line are machinery and equipment industries, most located in the state of São Paulo. Created 15 years ago, Blue Line contributes to the increased importation and commercial practice that was called global value chains. And some findings: use of Blue Line has accelerated customs clearance and reduced supply chain costs in Brazil. However, we have seen some difficulties in customs regulatory and the procedural framework and that we could and we need to make some improvements to broaden the base of blue line certified companies. That's one of the challenges, to broaden the base of the blue line certified companies. And only to explain here, we have to see what's next. After this blue line 15 years history, and the great challenge, we believe, in the current scenario, mainly considering the Bali round achievements, is widening the universe of qualified companies while keeping the quality degree in customs control. That we believe, Professor Paulo and I, we believe the greatest challenge. There are some sources we have been used, and I would like to send a message to all that we from our university in Brazil, we are open to any kind of research collaboration. That's what that means. And we will be very enthusiastic to develop some research together with you, maybe in the near future. There are some references, you can check it after. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Cristiano.